Alright, y'all. So, I spent tons of time coming up on all kinds of circuitry with gold in it, and all the broken stuff like that. I went as far as getting muriatic acid. Hydrogen peroxide supposed to separate it all. I strained it all out. On my hands, man. Let's see where the gold is. After all that, this gold is still stuck to the circuitry. I took it and torched it, shit. Pardon my French. And right here seems to be the gold that I acquired.
That they can never save themselves? Yes, a definite method, and it is so effective it never fails. Do I understand you to claim your method is so powerful your opposition cannot reclaim?
So I can see here, I can go through all this a little bit and put together the little drops and find it and separate it.
So many people in my opposition can prevent me. Nothing can stop me from controlling.
But there's not that much here to begin with.
Nothing can stop me except the power of accurate thought. People who think accurately do not drift on any subject. They recognize the power of their own minds. Moreover, they take over that power and yield it to no person or influence. Go ahead and tell me more of the method.
So out of 4 TVs and countless stupid little pieces of gold containing circuitry, that's what I got. And all it doesn't even look like gold. I'm thinking, that's gold for sure. I melted it already. That's gold. So these are the pieces of beat up gold I found. There's other pieces there too. Look at that, like that. So I'm gonna take it together and put it on this right here.
They would do my cause irreparable damage. Marriage. I cause men and women to drift into marriage without plan or purpose.
That's fine. I will use
the relationship into harmony. Here is one of my most effective methods of converting people into the habit of drifting. I cause married people to bicker and nag one another over money matters. I cause them to quarrel over the bringing up of their children. I engage them in unpleasant controversies over their intimate relationships and in disagreements over friends and social activities. I keep them so busy finding fault with one another that they never have time to do anything else long enough to break the habit of drifting. Occupation. I teach people to become drifters by causing them to drift out of school into the first job they can find, with no definite aim or purpose except to make a living. Through this trick, I keep millions of people in fear of poverty all their lives. Through this fear,
in doing so, I have sacrificed my health probably. The fumes I didn't. Like I said, I'm just a dumb ass tweaker, really.
I cause people to spend freely and to save sparingly, or not at all, until I take complete control of them through their fear of poverty.
My lungs are gonna pay the price. I'll probably die at a younger age.
I cause people to drift into inharmonious
Hopefully not.
environments in the home, in their places of occupation, in their relationship with relatives and acquaintances, and to remain there until I claim them through the habit of drifting. Dominating thoughts. I cause people to drift into the habit of thinking negative thoughts. This leads to negative acts and involves people in controversies and fills their minds with fears, thus paving the way for me to enter and control their minds. When I move in, I do so by appealing to people through negative thoughts, which they believe to be their own. I plant the seeds of negative thought in the minds of people through the pulpit, the newspapers, the moving pictures, the radio, and all other popular methods of appeal to the mind. I cause people to allow me to do their thinking for them because they are too lazy and too...
It's just not as easy as it seems, my friends.
I conclude from what
So I'm saving you the drama and the ill health of doing this.
Is that true?
This doesn't have to be a long video.
Any habit which causes one to procrastinate, to put off reaching a definite decision, leads to the habit of drifting. Is man the only creature who drifts? Yes.
I went as far as
all other creatures move in
taking a little micro torch.
Alone defies nature's laws and drifts when it will. Everything else
Like this one, to kind of gather up the pieces of gold. Doing some dumb shit like this.
Solely because of their habit of drifting, which is only another way of saying that I control the minds of men only because they neglect or refuse to control and use their own minds. This is getting to be pretty deep stuff for a mere human being. Let us get back to the discussion of something less abstract. Please tell me how this drifting habit affects people in the everyday walks of life. And tell me in terms the average person can understand. I would prefer to keep this interview up among the stars.
No, gold will separate itself once you heat it up.
Save you from being exposed. But let's come back to Earth. Tell me now what drifting is doing to us as a nation here in the United States. Frankly, I may as well tell you that I hate the United States as only the devil can hate.
Here we go. Look, you see the stuff that's actually gold in there, staying and heating up.
The cause was born
The price is put together.
1776. When 56 men signed a document which destroyed my chances of controlling the nation. You know that document as the Declaration of Independence. Had it not been for the influence of that damnable document, I would now have a dictator running the country, and I would stop this right to free speech and independent thought that is threatening my rule on Earth.
That's gold right there, mainly right there. That one hitting that little bead on the left.
Controlled by self-appointed dictators belonging in your camp? There are no self-appointed dictators. I appoint them all. Moreover, I manipulate them and direct them in their work. Nations run by my dictators know what they want and take it by force. Look what I have done through Mussolini in Italy. Look what I am doing through Hitler in Germany.
There we
Look what I
go.
am doing through Stalin in Russia. My dictators run those nations for me because the people have been subdued through the habit of drifting. My dictators do no drifting. That is why they rule for me the millions of people under their control. What would happen if Mussolini, Stalin, and Hitler turned traitors and disavowed you and your rule? That will not happen because I have them too well done. I am paying each of them with the sop of his own vanity, by making him believe he is acting on his own account. That is not a good thing. Let us come back to the United States and learn something of what you are doing to convert people into the habit of drifting. Right now, I am paving the way for a dictatorship by sowing the seeds of fear and uncertainty in the minds of the people. Through whom are you carrying on your work? Mainly through the president. I am destroying his influence with the people by causing him to drift on the question of a working agreement with the employers and their employees. If I can induce him to drift for another year, he will be so thoroughly discredited I can hand over the country to a dictator. If the president continues to drift, I will paralyze personal freedom in the United States, just as I destroyed it in Spain, Italy, Germany, and England. What you say leads me to the conclusion that drifting is a weakness which inevitably ends in failure, whether among individuals or nations. Is that your claim? Drifting is the most common cause of failure in every walk of life. I can control anyone whom I can.
And then you see someone beating up together, having one big old lump.
The reason for this is
That's probably the gold itself right there. I could be wrong. That's out of 4 TVs. I'm gonna get that much? Man, I put way too much work in for this to waste my time with this like this. See what, $20 worth of gold maybe?
Second, the drifter cannot get help from opposition because the opposition is not attracted to anything so soft and useless. Is that why a few people are wealthy while the majority of people are poor? That is exactly the reason. Poverty, like physical illness,
Hold on.
contagious disease. You find it always among the drifters, never among those who know what they want and are determined to get just that. It may mean something to you when I call your attention to the fact that the non-drifters, whom I do not know, and those who possess most
Gonna flame down a little bit for this moment.
happen to be the same.
I already balled it up right there pretty good.
I have always understood that money was the root of all evil, that the poor and the meek would inherit heaven, while the wealthy would pass into your hands. What have you to say of that claim?
Men who know how to get the material things of life generally know how to keep out of the hands of the devil as well.
Pause it.
At what age or
So as you guys can see, so I'm pretty much fucking freaking out. This time. Trying to get the body.
speaking of the poor dupes of the world who need to understand the exact technique with which they may be flattered into the habit of drifting, go on and tell us how a woman can harpoon rich and presumably smart men.
This is a devilish trick to
There's a little tad piece of gold right there.
But since women influence men through a technique consisting first of ability to inject soft, cooling bait their eyes into a half-closed position, which registers.
And I know the difference between gold and other things he does. Because I took this gold necklace and tweaked that on it. First with the same torch. And now nothing more
That is the most effective thing.
than
It works.
Just as if
what you see here. Now that's gold.
And tell me of some of your other tricks.
Oh, you see the balls? What? Beat it up. You can tell how heavy this is.
Enthusiasm dulls imagination and drives away definite.
That's gold. That's white gold. I haven't tweeted on that one, melted it down yet. I ain't tripping on it. I got things to do. Gotta clean the pad. So all you fucking figures out there, don't waste your time fucking trying to take gold out of fucking circuitry. I think it's best probably just to find
Failure and reports cheap assets.
Yes, and this same quality is the
a good company that'll do it for you.
every man who attains outstanding
Right?
success in
Anyways,
That
this is me.
statement covers lots of territory,
Fucking
Your Majesty.
the troublesome one.
Modify it or tone it down a bit for the sake of accuracy.
No modification
Check it out.
is necessary because the claim is none.